Good morning to you. It's great to see you here. Good morning to you. You're someone we can cheer. Hooray. Good morning to you. Singing clear and loud. Good morning to you. You really make us proud.
Hello, welcome back to episode 5 of Space to Create. This week Yair and I will be joined by the artist Anna Atkinson, who will be doing the magic make and awesome artist sections while I do the drawing date with you. At the end we'll have Riz again for the mind and body. She's doing some lovely yoga stretches this week. The sun is shining and I hope you've been able to get outside and enjoy it a bit. Okay, enjoy the sessions.
Hi, and today we're going to look at the artist Frida Kahlo. Might have been a bit of a giveaway if you can see my headdress. Frida Kahlo often wore wonderful vibrant headdresses and beads. She was from Mexico and all of her art was about the colour and life of Mexico. She was inspired by the cactuses and plants. So here's a little picture of her. That's with her pet monkeys. Yeah, she looks a little bit sad in that picture. And the thing about Frida Kahlo is that she often expressed her emotions through her art. She had an accident when she was very young, which meant that she was in a wheelchair for lots of her youth, and she was in a lot of pain and she had lots of surgery. So she used her art as a way to explore and channel her feelings in her body, her pain, and she used her art to express that. I have another, this is a cushion I've got, and it's a lovely embroidered version of her. You can see the lovely bright colours in her Mexican clothes. I also have a little drawing of her here, you can see. Yeah, she's quite famous because she had a sort of monobrow. You might have seen images of her because she's what we call iconic. In a way, her presence and her iconography is bigger than who she was as a person, because not only was she from Mexico, she also used her body as her art and used doing portraiture as a way of expressing her physical feelings. She also was one of the first women artists, and a lot of the time women artists were not celebrated historically, and she's one that was. So she changed history. There's another image of her there and some of her lovely dresses there. So what you can see behind me is I don't know if you can see that very well. I'll see if I can zoom in a bit for you. You can see at the top there, there's a mask there based on sort of Mexican masks, and beneath it is a kind of full body drawing. I'm just going to tilt the camera so you can see it all the way down to the feet, with lots of bright colours expressing different feelings. And I'm going to show you how to make one of these. Okay. So what you're going to need for this, you're going to need a roll of lining paper. This is just cheap lining paper that goes underneath wallpaper. You can buy it from B&Q. It's not expensive. It's a great thing to have in your house. It's great for painting on this lovely thick paper. And just some oil pastels. You can use felt tips if you want to, but I think pastels or chalks, well, you can use oil pastels or chalk pastels. Brilliant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it with you. This was just my example one to show you. And we're going to create our own one. Just going to remove that. You can see close up all the bright colours. So the first thing we need to do is we need to draw around the body. Now you can lie down on the lining paper and get someone to draw around you. I'm literally just going to draw a head, shoulders, do the arms. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see that my drawing is not perfect. It goes all the way down the legs and the feet. There we go, and that's a full body drawing. So start with the head, and I want you to think about what you can see. So what can you see all around you in your environment? Are you in the garden? Are you in the house? What can you see? Are you in your bedroom? Notice what you are drawn to with your eyes. Is it the clock on the wall? Is it a plant? I'm actually drawn to my window where I have a view of the sea. I'm very lucky I have a sea view. So where my eyes would be, where I see, I'm going to draw the sea because I can see the sea view. So that's what I'm going to draw there. If you were looking at the clock, you would draw the clock. You might be drawn to two different things and have different images. Looking at our senses. So we're having a kind of body response, which is what Frida Kahlo tried to show in her portraits, a kind of physical body response. So if she was in pain, she would express that through her art, using all the senses. So the next thing we're going to think about is our sense of smell. What can we smell? So I just had some delicious pasta. So I'm going to draw my curly whirly delicious pasta I've just had for lunch. I can still smell that from when I cooked it. Next thing is taste. And that's very closely linked to smell. So you might have two different foods for taste and smell, maybe a different meal that you ate, maybe they're both the same. I had marmalade on toast for breakfast, which is what Paddington Bear likes to eat, marmalade. And I have it for breakfast every morning because I can only do good learning when I have had my breakfast. So I'm going to draw toast for my taste and draw my marmalade on there. See, it's not very particularly brilliant drawing, but we're working with the abstract here to be creative with mark making. So next thing is we've done about our eyes, our nose, our mouth. Now we're thinking about our hearing. What can we hear? Now I can hear the pigeons outside on my roof. So I'm going to draw two pigeons, and as you can see, my drawings aren't great. Pigeons. You might do two different things in different ears for yours. Thinking about the hair now and the head. What would be your ideal hairstyle? What's the hair that you've always wanted? Maybe you've always wanted blue hair or green hair or punky hair, spiky hair, smooth, long hair. You can be really creative here. You can draw your own hair or you can create what you like. I'd like some blue hair today, so I'm going to do... I'm using the side of the pastel to do marks. And I've got my crazy blue hair, and I'm going to put some pink flowers in it, just like I'm wearing now. So I'm going to put those in. Brilliant. So it's looking pretty abstract already. We're going to move on to the shoulders now and think about the shoulders as a landscape. We're thinking of the body as a landscape, which many artists in history have done. So if we think of the body as a landscape, we can think of, maybe just have a feel into your shoulders. Are they tight? Are they burdened? Are they light? Are they wiggly? Feel what's in your shoulders. Now my shoulders, you could think about a landscape. You could have a desert. What type of weather would be in your shoulders? Would it be thunder and lightning? Would it be a rocky mountain? Would it be a desert? Would it be perhaps a river or a body of water? I mean, my hair looks a little bit like a river, doesn't it? So thinking about things like that. So I'm going to have some lightning in this one. And maybe some thunder clouds to go with that. And I'm going over the edge, as you'll notice. And then I'm going to think about the other one. I think I'm going to have a volcano on the other one because my other shoulder's a bit sore and it needs to erupt. So I'm going to, lots of lava flying out. You can see I'm being really quite scribbly with my mark making. We're thinking now about the heart. So for this, you can actually close your eyes and just put your hand on your heart. Notice what's there. Maybe feelings of love and compassion, maybe some sad feelings. We all carry many different things in our hearts, and maybe we're carrying people that we love, pets that we love, friends that we love, perhaps people that we're not able to see at the moment. So in your heart you can place whoever you want. You could have names. My heart is feeling full of gratitude, so I'm going to write thank you in my heart. Thank you. And it doesn't matter that you can't quite read my writing. Sometimes even handwriting is a form of mark making that we can be playful with. And I'm going to put my mum in there because I want to put my mum in my heart. So whatever you want to put in your heart. And then I'm going to kind of have the energy of the heart going all the way down the body. That feels very important. So thinking about the arms now. Do you have wiggly arms, wobbly arms, rainy arms, cloudy arms, rainbow arms? Yeah, what are your arms doing? My arm is feeling very slow, so I'm going to very slowly draw a line. So thinking about the pressure of using the crayons. Are you pressing hard or are you pressing lightly? Others might be a bit faster. Wiggly and squiggly and sparky and woo. Yeah, so just follow the crayons. Let them guide you. Let them lead you. Follow the crayons on a journey. And then you can do this all the way down to the feet. Are your feet wiggly? Are they dancing? Thinking about your tummy. Do you want to put some more food in there? Is your tummy full or empty? Perhaps you've got an animal in your tummy. I might do a ginger cat in mine because that relates to my marmalade, doesn't it? Who wants to rest and sleep on the sofa. So you might have a different animal in your tummy. So we're exploring here the idea of this body as a landscape, and playing around with how we can be colourful and expressive and not worry about making marks, just begin something. And I'm just going to read you something. You know, you could be inspired by plants and nature. So you could have leaves, bones, rocks, skulls, strange objects, suns and moons. Perhaps even inspired by the Mexican theme. You might have flowers. You might add jewellery, images of jewellery, bracelets, necklaces to your image. Maybe your favourite pets would be involved and you could have them somehow integrated into your image. It's your image, but at once we want your image, your portrait, to say something about you, which is really important because, yeah, it's important that we find a way to express ourselves through our art. So I hope that's helpful and I hope you've enjoyed looking at Frida Kahlo today. Good luck with your creative portraits. And if you want to, you can always make a separate mask like I did to put on top of your image if you wanted to go to the full, you know, thinking about the bones, the skeleton, thinking about all those bones in the body. You could even draw them in. The pelvis, the arms, even the tiny little bones in your hands. Are they wiggly? Are they delicate? How would you draw those? So really doing an excavation of feelings in the body.
Welcome to this week's drawing date. This week we are inspired by the work of Akash Nehalani. They are a really cool graffiti street artist using tape, coloured tape that they make geometric shapes out of to make kind of optical illusions. I love this one that's been done in a gallery. This bit looks like it's sticking out just because of the way the tape is angled. And I've been experimenting by creating a city skyline here. You can see I've got kind of really tall buildings, skyscrapers coming up and windows and things. This background was just a piece of old artwork that I had that I wasn't doing anything else with. You can create one by just splashing ink and paint and glitter and all sorts over it. So you can make yourself a nice colourful background, or you can just use a plain piece of paper. I've just been experimenting on this one. So this is the beginnings of a skyscraper that I've made. And I'm just putting down some electrical tape. So you can find any tape that you've got around the house. So these ones are all electrical tape and they're used for DIY purposes. And if you ask your grown-ups, they might have some. And they might have also some of this very funky foil tape, which is great for windows and sometimes used in painting and decorating, is masking tape. This masking tape is a fabulous green colour. I've also got some washi tape, so you can get a variety of things. So as you can see here, I've been experimenting by creating a skyscraper. If you notice at the top, the skyscraper, even though it's flat, the roof doesn't sit flat. So this is the front of the skyscraper and this is the side. And to show that it is a 3D item, the roof of it actually goes up into a kind of triangle, and that gives the building the 3D effect. So I'm just going to get a new fresh piece of paper, and I'm going to have a go at making a bit more of a skyline. So I think I will do like a normal kind of street skyline. So I'm using my washi tape and I'm just experimenting by creating kind of roofs that you might get on houses. Okay, and perhaps we'll create some chimneys. And if you really can't find any tape around the house, don't forget you can always just use felt pens and things. So you don't have to use tape if you haven't got any. Then it's all about improvising at the minute, isn't it? So these are little chimneys on the roofs of our houses. So there we go. And now I'm going to use some of the foil to make windows. The foil makes excellent windows. Oops, it's quite fiddly. So I'm going to keep adding tape to this, and I will see you back shortly with the finished version. So here we are, I'm almost finished my piece, and I just wanted to show you what I've done. So I've used lots of different types of tape. I've made some houses here and a kind of block of flats here, and you can see I'm not being precise with anything. I'm just giving the flavour of buildings and things, and here behind there's a bit of a rooftop skyline to give you the impression of houses behind the houses. And you can use pencil or charcoal or anything that you like, anything that you've got hanging around the house to mark little details. Add some pencil and it looks really nice. So there we are. We have made our own special tape skyline.
Today's video is about the artist Paul Klee. He is this week's awesome artist. Can you draw a continuous line on a piece of paper? Maybe from memory, documenting your journey. Don't take the pen off the paper until it is done. Paul Klee was born in 1879. He was an artist, a musician, a writer and a poet, and one of the most original masters of modern art. He always drew continuous lines, never taking the pen or the chalk or the pencil or the paint off the paper. This was one of his trademarks of his art. So we talk about taking the line or the dot out for a walk when we talk about Paul Klee, because that's what he used to do in his images. So start with a dot or a line and just see where it takes you. And you can be inspired by any lines or dots all around. You know, you can think about buildings, architecture, perhaps the urban environment, and look at drawing buildings and cities with one continuous line. It's quite challenging, but it's a great practice, and it's great to try and do portraits just with a continuous line as well. So what did Klee paint? He painted landscapes, animals. He particularly liked fish, cats and birds. Pictures made from any geometric shapes. It's squares, circles, triangles, details from nature, flowers, plants and trees. Characters both invented and based on real people.
Welcome back to our final session of relaxation and stretching poses. I'm very sad that we'll be ending, but hopefully you'll use these poses throughout your daily life. When you've been working hard all day, nice to have 5 to 10 minutes of relaxation. So without further ado, I will get going. So we will get into our cross-legged pose. For some of you who like to do that. And we're just going to do a couple of simple stretches to get us warmed up. So we will stretch to the right. So we bring our arm up and over and stretch across. 3, 2, 1 and back up. And then we will go to the left, bringing our arm over, stretching across to the left. And back up. One more on each side. And back up. The next pose we're going to do is called child's pose, and it's a really nice relaxing pose. It's really good for your lower back and your hips. So what we do is we come onto our knees and we have them slightly open, like so. And then we move our hands forward and we stretch back with our bottoms on our feet. And it's a really lovely, soothing stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. And I want us to come back up. Nice. And we'll go on to all fours. And what we're going to do, it's called cat and cow pose. So when we do the cow pose, we breathe in and then we lower our tummies to the floor. So you can see that my back is going the other way to what it normally is. So it's not in a neutral position. And then we breathe in and then we arch our backs just like a cat. Stretching. So right up and into cow and then back into cat, back into cow and into cat. And this is such a great release for the back. We'll do one more, cow pose, and then into cat. And then back to a neutral spine. The next pose we're going to do is we're going to put our right arm forward and then put our left leg back. So it's another great stretch for your spine. If you can't hold it with your leg and your hand up, you can always put your foot down. Or you can do the opposite and lift your leg. And then we'll do the other side. So left arm forward, right leg back. And it's a really nice balancing pose. And sort of elongating your spine, especially when we're sitting down all day. And put our hands back. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to do Lord of the Fishes. So there's lots of animal references today. So we keep our left leg crossed like this. And then we're going to bring our right leg over. Now you might just make sure that both your bottom or your cheeks of your bottom or your sitting bones are on the mat or on the carpet. And you can just stay here and just kind of hug your knee in, which is another great stretch all along your right leg and in your hip. Or you can bring your arm across. It's almost like it's a good shape, good angular shape. And then bring your right hand behind you and look out across your right shoulder. And this is also really good for your lower spine, your shoulders. So it's a lovely stretch. So we can hold that for 3, 2, 1. And then we'll come out of that. So give your elbows a bit of a shake. And then we'll do the other side. So right leg underneath, your left leg over the top. Remember to try and keep your bottom on the floor. Doesn't matter if it doesn't go on the floor. It all depends on how flexible we are. So you can stay here, nice and straight, lifting up. Or you can bring your right arm across, put your elbow next to your knee, and then take your left hand out, and then look over the left shoulder. That's a great stretch. Then we'll come out of that. And the next pose, which we've done before, but we're going to do a different version today. Not butterfly, we're going to do diamond pose. So we're just going to it's the same shape as butterfly, but your feet are further in front of you. So it's a longer diamond shape. And again, we're going to get nice and straight and then bring our elbows in and then lean forward. Only go as far as it feels comfortable. And what you can do is get your elbows to push open your knees. And this is also really good for stretching your lower back, but also the insides of your thighs as well. So we'll just bring our heads down, nice and relaxed. And then we'll bring it back up. And then what we do in yoga at the end of any kind of stretching or any kind of breathing session, we always end up in a pose called Shavasana or corpse pose, which basically means after a long stretch out, the best pose and the most therapeutic pose is when we lie on our backs. And we just roll down nice and slowly, and we just let everything relax. Close your eyes, nice deep breaths. Big breath in. And then we're going to do a nice big breath out. And then just let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. So you can stay here for 2 minutes or even 5 minutes, depending on how hard you worked. and how relaxed you want to be. And then when you want to come out of the pose, just start moving parts of your body, like your feet, your fingers, reawakening them. And then slowly come back up. And then come back to the pose you started at the beginning. Well, I hope you use all these lovely relaxation poses as we continue in lockdown, and hopefully they will make you have a better day, also a nice way to end your day. You can even use these to begin your day, to put you in the right frame of mind. So enjoy yourselves. Summer's coming. Take care.
It's time to say goodbye now. It's time for us to finish.
I will be here every week with Yair, and we'll be joined by different guest artists. If you've had a good time and enjoyed making something, do share photos or even a video with Catherine at Culture Shift. Check out this email address at the end of the video.